you feel like things are holding you back right now when it comes to the things you want to achieve in life? See, I have this mentality of filters and masks stopping you from being authentically you. And hence why I have this concept that I try to throw out, this brand I'm trying to build in regards to being your unfiltered self. We have the Unfiltered podcast, Unfiltered coaching, and watch the space, because there's definitely going to be a lot of emphasis thrown into just being unfiltered. But I kind of wanted to throw it at you. What would life look like if we took down specific filters which are holding you back from being you? I'm going to go into the framework a little bit here. This is something I do on the Unfiltered coaching experience. But I kind of just want to hone in regards to, like, say, the filters. Hopefully that might plant some seeds in regards to maybe things that you can identify right now which are playing a part for you. So without going into too much of the details, kind of just wanted to put out, if you think about yourself right now in the work environment, as an example, are you the same person in the work environment that you are when you are at home? Are you that same person in your relationship? And does that translate to the same person you are when you're at home with your family and friends? What about with your friends just in general? Are you that same person when it comes to going on a date if you're single right now? If we're to look at it from like other angles, what kind of person are you when you're in a family social setting? What kind of person are you when you're just in a general social setting? What kind of person are you when you're in the gym and you're training, or when you're out partying and socializing in different capacities? Like, what I'm trying to hone in at is, what would life be like if you were who you really wanted to be all the time? Because a lot of us feel we're not allowed to. We're not allowed to be our loud, bubbly, goofy selves in certain environments because of how it's perceived and how it's looked. So what happens then on the back end of it is maybe we dress a certain way, we speak a certain way, we think a certain way. We look at our roles within these societies and we play our role differently based on where we are in our life right now. We have a set number of expectations and that plays a part. And there are so many things, maybe things have happened in your past which now have got you thinking, oh damn, I need to act like this right now. I need to behave in this manner. I need to turn up like this. And it gets me thinking, like, that's a very filtered version of you. That's not really you. And why is it a problem you being you in these environments? And saying that right now, if what I'm saying sounds like very interesting and you're like, oh damn, Pri, I think I've got a bunch of filters I'm wearing, I'd love to like try and find a way of shifting out of that mentality. I'm gonna throw in a link in the bio. Just book yourself in a call, find yourself a time slot, or we'll go through the Unfiltered coaching experience to give you a little flavor of what coaching's like, but really like hone into what your filters are. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, I'm just trying to like really paint the picture right now. Like, what is it that you're wearing on a day-to-day basis? What is it that you're eating on a day-to-day basis? Like, what kind of hours are you working? What's your relationship like with your family and your friends and your kids if you have them? And we don't really ask ourselves these questions because we follow what society norms say, right? What our cultural backgrounds have told us, what society preaches out to us, what social media possibly steers us down. And then we kind of can't really be us. And I'm all about changing that, right? Hence why I'm building this Unfiltered platform. There are some messed up things that go up in here, and that's okay. We all have feelings, we all go through tough times, and life isn't always sunshine and rainbows. It gets pretty dark at times. So what does that look like? Like, how does it feel when you have to go into the office, smile on your face, and say, hey, how's everything going? When someone asks you, oh, how's your weekend been? You can't turn around and say, heartbreaking, lonely, demotivating. Because this is something that we've been programmed we're not allowed to do. We're not allowed to overshare. We can't let our managers and our peers know I'm just not in the right headspace. But best believe if we like injured ourselves, right? If we fell off a bike or got into an accident and we let our managers know that, yo, physically I'm not in a good place to come into work, I might have to work from home or just gonna be taken sick, that would be deemed okay. And in some cases, people still try to like just soldier through, right? The most extreme scenarios would be like, it's fine, take a couple of days, take it as sick, we'll sort it all out, thanks for letting us know. We never really hone into, like, say, the mental side of things. And it baffles me that we do that. It's quite bizarre that we don't actually apply the same philosophy. And this is why the filters come through. So, hi Charlie, yeah, the weekend was great. No, it wasn't. Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, good result with the football, and yeah, the kids were amazing. And no, they weren't. It was torture. I didn't get much sleep. I'm battered right now. I'm running on fumes. My stomach's all over the place. But yeah, I'm here because this is what I'm here to do. That's a very sad story to hear, right? And if you're on the receiving end of this, say if your colleague did tell you, this is what I'm going through, this is what the weekend's been like, you'd probably be like, oh, okay, are you all right? Want to talk about it further? Are you in a good place to work right now? And that might be a response that gets thrown back to someone. It's interesting, like when something like quite upsetting happens, I lose a loved one. Work in these scenarios can be quite thoughtful and be like, take as much time as you need. We're there if you need to speak. But when it comes to like, say, how we're truly feeling around certain matters, we don't encourage it as much as we should. And I'd like to think in the environment when you're at home, if you're a parent right now and you've got kids, or if you are just listening to this and you think to yourself, okay, cool, if I had kids, you try to encourage them to speak up about the things that they're going through, correct? To take down the filters that they possibly feel that they have to wear and encourage a bit more of an open-ended conversation. So why are we not making that step for ourselves right now? Why are we constantly choosing to be filtered? That's just my definition around it. When I think about it and when I talk about it from this angle, it really gets me thinking, what would happen if I went around and spoke to all of these companies and knocked on the door to all of these families and just asked them, what's really going on? How are you really feeling? And help them take down certain filters. What would happen if we start to normalize that and encourage people to be authentically themselves? Be a bit brave and experiment with different careers, to become an entrepreneur, to be a bit more happier, to date more freely, to be a bit more open-minded in regards to wilder things that they dream of. It's just a very, very, very interesting conversation that I'm trying to normalize, and it's a conversation that I'm trying to normalize on the Unfiltered podcast. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel yet, if you've got this far and you love my unfiltered nature, come on, just a cheeky subscribe or a like. It goes a long way, honestly. It just helps me know what videos people are resonating with, what content people resonate with, and more specifically, the bigger their audience, the bigger guests I can bring on when it comes to the podcast and have more of those deeper conversations and trying to normalize the shit that we're all going through. It doesn't take much, and if you do like the stuff I'm putting out there, a cheeky like and subscribe goes a long way. I'd very much appreciate it. Thank you for that. But back to what I was saying. Well, if you start to look at it from an angle where you realize that maybe there are things that you are doing that limits yourself, which I call filters, are holding you back, it'd be interesting to see what your life looked like by taking them away. So I know first and foremost, and I've spoken about it on Instagram recently, the filters that I wear. I sometimes feel that I can't speak to certain individuals just because maybe they won't have the time for me. Certain celebrities that I've seen, and I've seen a lot recently, whether it's in the studio or I train, etc. I'm just like, it'd be nice to have a conversation, be like, hey, yeah, I mean, how's it going? You're all right. But something stops me. I used to have a filter in regards to my appearance and how I looked. Now I kind of don't care, but I do like looking good. But at the same time, like, we've got to just run with it, whether it's like my skin conditions or whether it's just generally just looking very grizzly like I am. It used to be a challenge. Sometimes it still can be in certain capacities. Like I wouldn't want to go and record if I don't look my best self just for presentational purposes. But is that a filter? Possibly. You see what I mean? I also feel like as a man in the world that we live in right now, when it comes to, like, say, dating, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to my family, there's a role I need to uphold, and the key word being need to. And part of me wants to, but there's that distinction between needing and wanting. And that's a filter, right? Because it then means that I possibly can't be me. Now I've got coaches that are helping me. I've got a therapist, which makes me think a little bit differently. So I'm applying the work to just be a bit more outside of the box and like take myself out of it and start honing in, start really diving deep into like some of these particular challenges. I'm trying to be my unfiltered self in those spaces. Best believe like I'm a lot more unfiltered than I ever was. But it's interesting to see the difference it can make once you just start making subtle changes. I'm gonna leave it there. Again, I didn't want to go into too much into details. I just wanted to just like paint a picture in regards to like what filters could be doing for you. And again, like I said, if it's something you're interested, book yourself in for an unfiltered coaching experience. Or if you want a bit more information, drop me a message and we will try and like hone into a bit more what this experience is like and see if we can like start changing the game for you in regards to what life is looking like right now as you currently are, and what life could be like if you just took them down. Anyway, it's been your boy Pri. Thank you a lot for listening, and I will catch you a lot soon on the next video. Peace.